So I'm starting to not like how much the NFL is giving us praise. Because as always, we play our best football when we don't get the praise, when we get valued, when we become the underdog. That's just how we play our best football. So when the NFL is starting to go crazy saying, well, maybe Cincinnati could be a great team, I'm like, okay, hold up. Let's calm down now, NFL. Don't be switching up now. Like, you've hated us forever, and now you're trying to change this narrative. I mean, literally, recently they talked about how they're going to fix the schedule moving forward because the last couple years has been very, biased about the fact that we have played the Ravens on short weeks. It's always against the Ravens or always against, a away team. We never can play home on a short week. We always got to play away. So there's always this, narrative the NFL always does against us. And now they're like, oh, yeah, we kind of realize we should stop doing that to Cincinnati. We should stop, fluffing them over. So now they're trying to talk all nice and get on our good side. And it's like, nah, you guys have been bad to us for too long. So now an NFL insider makes a bold prediction. So the NFL insider has posted the bold predictions, 10 bold predictions actually, Judy here. And the first bold prediction is that the Chicago Bears will make the playoffs. Okay, that's really not too crazy. I think the NFC is so weak at this point. Like, okay, let's go through the NFC, right? The NFC South, I'm not scared of any team in the NFC South. I think there's going to be a team that makes the playoffs, but I don't think there will be... there might be one playoff team out of the playoffs, out of the NFC South, that isn't the division winner. And I think that could be the Saints. It could also be... I think the Falcons probably win the division in the end. I wasn't as high on the Falcons, but I think the Falcons probably win that. The Bucks, though, they could be also a playoff team as well. But NFC North, you have the Lions, the Packers. I don't think the Vikings are going to make the playoffs. The East, obviously, yes, you have the Cowboys. But outside the Cowboys, you have the Eagles, which I think they will be a playoff team. Probably not the Commanders and probably not the Giants. And then the West, you got the 49ers, yes. Seahawks, maybe. Rams, potentially. And... who else? You got the Cardinals, who I think will be a lot better, but maybe not a playoff team. So, actually, this is kind of bold. Now that I think about it, there are some teams, and with the only being 3 playoff spots available in the wild card, okay, maybe this is a little bit bold. Interesting. The Jets will make the playoffs. Well, if Aaron Rodgers stays healthy the whole entire season and loses in the divisional round, number one, making the playoffs, I don't think is the most impossible thing to do or the craziest thing to do. With Aaron Rodgers and an easier schedule, they should be able to make the playoffs. They almost made, well, they didn't almost make, but they played pretty well last year with a Zach Wilson, the MILF Hunter. So I think they should be able to make the playoffs in theory, just through an easier schedule and Aaron Rodgers. Losing the divisional round would be a typical here. I think the biggest problem with the Jets is coaching. I don't think it's a problem of, Aaron Rodgers. I think it's a problem with coaching. They have one of the best teams in the NFL roster-wise. It's a problem of the Nathaniel Hackett. Now, Nathaniel Hackett, according to Aaron Rodgers, he did say recently that, the reason why you should trust in Nathaniel Hackett is because he trusts him. And he believes that he can run Nathaniel Hackett's, whole entire offense without problems. He did it in Green Bay. So there is a lot of speculation there. But losing the divisional round, if you're going to go against, let's say, for example, the Bengals or the Chiefs or the Ravens or the Bills, I think the Jets could be a playoff team because of an easy schedule. I don't think they're going to go far in the playoffs because once you get there, you got to play the big boy teams. Saquon Barkley just misses 2,000 yards from scrimmage, but the Eagles will return to the Super Bowl. Again, I don't think this is that crazy because, again, the Eagles returning to the Super Bowl, I think the NFC is a very winnable conference versus the AFC. AFC is absolutely stacked. Like, it would be hard to get there from the AFC wise. NFC wise, I think it's very possible. They could also be the best team in the NFC, knowing how the NFC is working this upcoming season. So that's not really that crazy to say that they would turn to the Super Bowl. Now, what is crazy is the idea of Saquon Barkley just missing 2,000 yards. I think he'll hit 2,000 yards. And the reason why is because Jalen Hurts is a very mobile quarterback. They're very known for running either Jalen Hurts or their running backs. So I think he could have a fantastic season. I will say, though, that Eagles offense, they have so many weapons there. It's kind of to a point where I'd say it would be difficult to even think that. Like, I don't know. I mean, I guess that maybe he doesn't hit 2,000 yards, but it's just based on the fact of how many weapons they have there in Philadelphia. They have a lot of options, so that would be the only reason. All right, 4. The Cowboys lose the NFC East, make the playoffs, an early playoff exit, fire Mike McCarthy, and hire Bill Belichick in 2025. This is like the most scripted crap I've ever seen in my life. Jerry Jones finally gives up on Mike McCarthy, which he probably should have gave up on last season, to be honest. Losing the playoffs, check, normal, every single day, every single time, that's just normal. And lose the NFC East, check. The Bengals go to the AFC Championship game. Now, does she have us predicted winning or losing? And assuming the Bengals do not trade, they get another chance to knock off the champ this season. Okay, so she's not predicting how the things will turn out. She's just predicting that things will happen. Which, to be honest, I think it's 1,000% likely we're going to get to the championship, but I think we're also going to get to the Super Bowl. So I think there's more than just the championship on the line here for us. But I do agree with her. I think she's very logical in this aspect. I say so far, she's doing a really good job of getting these bold predictions. I agree with a lot of these bold predictions. Now, a lot of these aren't like the most boldest predictions, but with normally what the NFL puts out this time of the year, it's actually pretty dang well. Like, I give her props, and I know there's a lot of stigma about, well, females can't be reporters or females can't be analysts. No, this is the reason why they can be, because a lot of them can say some very logical stuff. The Chiefs 3-peat. Okay, she's done. Fire her. Alright, I'm going to start a petition, guys, to fire her. Women cannot be reporters. No, I'm just kidding. I disagree greatly with this one. Yeah, no, they're not going to 3-peat. If we get to the championship game, they're not going to 3-peat. The only way they 3-peat is if we don't get to the championship game. That's the only way, okay? The only way is if the Ravens or the Bills or some other team gets to the championship, and then they have to play them, because we're the only team in the league that can actually stop, the Chiefs from 3-peating here. So I don't agree with her now. I think she's illogical. She's done. She's a lost cause. Get rid of her. Tom Brady stays retired and in the broadcast booth. And again, I think this is very logical, not really that bold of a prediction. Kirk Cousins keeps Michael Penix on the bench in Atlanta, but Russell Wilson gets benched for Justin Fields. I agree 100% for both of those things. You pay, Kirk Cousins $140 million, you're not going to put in an 8th overall pick. Especially when you look at the Jordan Love situation, where Jordan Love sat behind Aaron Rodgers for 4 seasons and then became the starter, and he was really freaking good. So there's no reason to put in Michael Penix just yet. Russell Wilson, I think he's trash. I don't think he's good. I think Justin Fields is Pittsburgh's best option to be successful this season. Mainly because of, again, you got to think, Pittsburgh's probably going to be a run-heavy team this upcoming season, right? They're going to be a run-first team. They're a run-first team. In theory, you would think that Justin Fields would be the best option here. Look at Lamar Jackson with the Ravens, right? You have the read options. You have, the quick passes. You have the RPO plays. You just open up your offense a lot when you have a mobile quarterback. Outside of the running back jokes here, you open up a lot of options here. Number 9, Derrick Henry goes for 1,600 yards with the Ravens. This one would be interesting. So the Ravens, right, used to be coached under what's the guy's name? What's the guy's? They freaking hate him in Baltimore. The offense coordinator, Greg Roman, not Greg Roman. Get the guy who was the last offense coordinator before the guy they have now, and they hated him but he was a run first heavy coach. He put Michael Vick. He coached Colin Kaepernick, and he coached Lamar Jackson, and he was a very run heavy coordinator. This is how he ran his offense, right? So the Ravens were always known for being really good at running the ball, and then of course playing defense, and that's how it kind of transitioned to Lamar Jackson. Well, the situation with Lamar Jackson, now they have a new coach, new offense coordinator, who actually came over from Georgia. He was Georgia's head coach, and he taught, and he actually took Stetson Bennett, the Rams quarterback now. He took Stetson Bennett to a national championship, and that was like his huge thing because he was really good at the passing game. You know, you got Jim Harbaugh in Michigan, who is really much known for, being a run-heavy coach. They're completely different when it comes to the Ravens offense coordinator now, who is, I think it was Greg Roman, the other guy. But anyway, the new guy now is a very pass-heavy coach, and he's really good at passing the ball. So the Ravens have changed last year. That's why they got all these receivers. They got Odell Beckham. They got Zay Flowers in the first round. They picked up Nelson Aguilar in a free agency. They bought, they extended Rashad Bateman, right? All these things is because they changed their offense coordinator. So, I don't think it's impossible to say that Derrick Henry can get 1,600 yards. But I think that I don't know if I agree with that one, right? And the reason why is because you got to think this offseason they did lose Zay Flowers. I mean, they lost Zay Flowers. He did apparently beat his girlfriend, according to a police report. Anyway, though, yeah, football players, right? Do not get punished for crimes. Anyway, as I was saying, this offseason, they did go ahead and lose Odell Beckham, but they still have Zay Flowers. They did take in the draft Nate Wiggins, a cornerback. I don't think they took a wide receiver, but they did take a right tackle. They also traded away Morgan Moses. They lost Josh Simpson this offseason to another team. So that means Ben Cleveland will be the left guard. So they definitely, upgraded, downgraded in certain areas. The defense, I think, got a lot worse than last year. But, yeah, I don't think it's too outrageous. They do have a very tough schedule. So usually when you have a tough schedule and you have a schedule where you might have, like, games where you get down by a lot or down by any amount in games, usually that's not a proactive run-first type scenarios for you. So, for example, if we have every single game we play this season, right, where we're leading every single game and projected to lead every single game by, like, 2 touchdowns, right, Zach Moss and Chase Brown are going to have a great season because we're very much going to be running the ball a lot. But let's say we have a very tough schedule, one of the hardest in the NFL, where the Ravens kind of sit up on that list there. Then you would have the opposite point of view, right? You would be like, hey, we're going to be down in most of these games. We're not going to be able to run the ball because running the ball will run the clock, right? So you're going to have to pass the ball a lot. So you're not going to be able to do those things where you're very much giving the ball to Zach Moss or Chase Brown every single time. But if you're playing with the lead most of the games, you're going to be able to run the ball because that's how you get the game over with. So I don't think it's outrageous to say, but Jim Harbaugh poses an immediate challenge to the Chiefs. Again, I don't think this is an outrageous claim to make either. I think the Chiefs, while yes, they are the best team in the NFL for a reason, their division isn't really challenging anything, right? But I think the Broncos will be better. I think the Broncos will give them more of a challenge under having, Bo Nix now at, quarterback. I think that the Raiders... I think that the Chargers will also be very good too. I think Jim Harbaugh, what he gives the Chargers is stability of having a good coach. He gets them in the correct direction. While it's not potentially going to be the best option this year, it's going to get them in the correct direction for the future to move forward and build toward the future. We'll see how it ends up working out for him. But I don't think this is really that crazy ideas as bold predictions here, except for the stupid prediction, where she said the Chiefs will three-peat. That's the one I'm going to very much disagree with. But I am very much also biased because I do not like the Chiefs and I'm also a Bengals fan. So that's kind of how that works out in the end. With that being said, tell me down below your thoughts and opinions. I'll see you guys next one.